Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Wednesday, 16 April 2025. The news read by Rutendo Chinzara. Here are the news headlines. President Nelson Chamisa teaches the importance of unity for Zimbabweans. Promise Mkhwananzi raises concerns about compensating white farmers. Safety on roads is crucial as Easter approaches. And now for the news in detail. President Nelson Chamisa spoke about how important unity is for Zimbabweans. He believes that when people are united, they can achieve great things, but when they are divided, nothing works well. He stressed that fair elections, agreed national processes, and progressive politics are key to helping Zimbabwe. He shared a video from South Africa to illustrate what can happen when people come together. Chamisa thinks that by working as one, Zimbabweans can reach their full potential. Change Radio spoke to Honorable Jefferson Chitando to learn more. Let's listen to him.
President Nelson Chamisa has spoken so many times about unity. He has emphasized that Zimbabwe to progress as a nation, we have to be united. We have got to be patriotic. We have got to set our political agenda in a progressive, inclusive way. He also emphasized that we need to have free, fair, credible, transparent, democratic elections. These set the agenda for development. Elections set agenda for unity. So it is important that we hold on our elections in a democratic way. So, for Zimbabwe to reach its potential, we need to be united. We need to be one people. We need to disregard racism, tribalism, and work as a nation.
Promise Mkhwananzi, the spokesperson for the Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC, is questioning the fairness of compensating white farmers whose land was taken during the land reform program. He asked, what about the people affected by Gukurahundi and other political violence? This comes after the finance minister announced compensation for the first group of white farmers. Mkhwananzi is urging the government to also compensate the victims of these past events to ensure justice and support for all Zimbabweans who have suffered. Change Radio spoke to Mr. Ganya. Let's listen to him.
Land distribution was a noble cause. It is the prime reason why people went out, take arms, and fight for their freedom in this beautiful country. And everyone supports land redistribution. I do support, everybody supports land redistribution. But it is the method, the how part, that baffles all logic. There was ample time to plan and do land redistribution. Zimbabwe is agrarian, and anything that upsets that ended as it did in a disaster with a huge food deficit after the chaotic land redistribution. Even up to now, there is chaos in farms. We are not producing as much as we should be producing. We've got import pressure. Our currency has got import pressure because we buy a lot of food, we import a lot of food. We can never correct and stabilize our balance of payment. So the current account is always in red because we are not exporting as much as we should to be able to get. So what also happened with the chaos or chaotic land distribution is that industries that relied on agriculture had to go out. So these are things that we should have looked at, that we should have planned for, that we should have then come up with an action plan. Giving land is okay. But then for some PF it was an opportunity to loot. Firstly, they started looting the farms themselves. When it was supposed to be one man, one farm, it became Mugabe, 34 farms, one family. And the trend continues. And then there was really nothing that we were addressing that the whites were doing. Instead, in fact, the whites kept us feeding. Here we started impoverishing people. These guys, man, they loot so much, they always have something. And then from there, they then came up with these schemes that are run in a command fashion. They started presidential scheme, presidential input, farm mechanization. All those things were meant to loot foreign currency from the coffers of Zimbabwe. And it is now evident money was looted. Now they've got command agriculture. From looting via schemes, they are now looting direct from peasants and peasantry farmers. This is baffling. And why compensate whites before we compensate those that were affected by Gukrahundi or those that were maimed and injured during the Gukrahundi period? Let us do things in a chronological order. I don't know how demented these guys are to forget that there are people that need compensation way ahead of whites. Is it because you're afraid of the white skin? Maybe because these guys stayed in the bush for a long time, they're scared of the white skin. I'm not sure. But we should have do things in accordance to what came first. Thank you.
As Easter approaches, it is very important for drivers in Zimbabwe to be safe on the roads because the country's hospitals are in terrible shape. There are not enough staff or basic medical supplies like gloves and bandages, and hospitals can't handle emergencies. If accidents happen during the holidays, victims may not receive the care they need. Therefore, drivers should take extra precautions to keep themselves and others safe. The Zimbabwe Consortium advises travelers to plan their trips carefully during Easter to avoid long waits at the busy Beitbridge border. Zimbabwe and South Africa have made special plans to handle the expected increase in traffic. More staff and service points will help travelers move faster. The border is different areas for trucks, buses, people and cars to make travel easier. Mr. Nobile Ncube, the Zimbabwe's manager, says travelers should use the correct terminals and avoid traveling all at once to prevent delays. Today, former Harare Mayor Bernard Manyenyeni and ex-acting town clerk Josephine Ncube appeared before the Harare Magistrate Court. Our reporter gives us more details.
The two are being charged for misusing their authority. This is after changing a land deal between the city of Harare and Shelter Zimbabwe, which cost the city about 20 million back in 2013. The city agreed to let Shelter Zimbabwe develop 1,500 homes in Tafara Mapuku. The plan was that the city would sell the homes after making the land ready. However, in 2017, Manyenyeni and Ncube changed the deal, allowing Shelter Zimbabwe to sell the land before it was ready. This led to Shelter Zimbabwe selling the lots without developing them and not giving money back to the city. More updates as the story unfolds. Reporting for Change Radio in Harare, this is Mkhwananzi.
A woman named Albina Mutiza is accused of stealing over $27,000 from her job at a shop in Harare. She appeared in court on Tuesday and was denied bail, so she will stay in jail until the next hearing on April 29. Our reporter gives us more details.
Mutiza worked as a sales representative at the Gulf complex, and the company noticed a drop in sales. An audit found a missing amount of $27,375.36 on April 7. After her shift, she gave her employer $1,075, but later sold more items without reporting the sales. When asked about the missing money, she retained $335, saying it was from lost sales. Police later found stolen items worth $209 at her home. So far, only $1,237 of the stolen money has been recovered. Reporting for Change Radio in Harare, this is Mkhwananzi.
In early 2025, 18 people died in Zimbabwe from conflicts with wildlife such as lions, crocodiles, and hyenas. According to a report by Parks and Wildlife, this was an increase from last year's 15 deaths. From 2019 to 2024, about 300 people were killed in such conflicts. In addition, 32 people were injured, and many cattle and goats were also killed. Officials warn people not to walk at night for safety. Sengezo Chabang got his job back as Secretary General of the Citizen Coalition for Change, CCC, after a court ruled his expulsion was unjust. However, Chabang's action in changing parliamentary positions without consulting party leaders first were deemed irresponsible. The court decided that the reasons for his firing were weak because the committee did not have enough proof. While he is back in power, people may question his judgment and leadership after attempting to act without proper approval, with some arguing that he is an imposter doing ZANU-PF jet work in fighting democracy in the country. Change Radio weather forecast. Showers and possible thunder showers are expected across most parts of Zimbabwe tomorrow. In international news, Namibia's President Mkhwananzi is taking a strong stand by demanding that Americans need visas to enter Namibia, just like Africans do to enter the US. This decision comes as over 500 Americans are said to be deported for not having visas. The president wants to make Namibia visa-free for all African countries, signaling a significant change and a new awakening in Africa. Legendary actor Don Mhlangeni Nawa has died at the age of 65. Best remembered for his unforgettable portrayal of Zeb Matavane in the beloved drama series Isdingo. Nawa's death marks the end of an era for Mzansi's television landscape. And now in sports news. FC Barcelona and French Ligue 1 giants Paris Saint-Germain are through to the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. Despite both teams losing their second leg fixtures, the margins they set in their first leg were too great for their opponents to overcome. Barcelona eliminated Borussia Dortmund, while PSG ousted Unai Emery's Aston Villa after the two legs ended 5-3 and 5-4 respectively. The action continues tonight as Real Madrid host Arsenal at Santiago Bernabeu, while Bayern Munich faces Italian giants Inter Milan for a spot in the last four. To end the news, here are the headlines once again. President Nelson Chamisa teaches the importance of unity for Zimbabweans. Promise Mkhwananzi raises concerns about compensating white farmers. Safety on roads is crucial as Easter approaches. That concludes this news bulletin. Thank you for listening. From myself, Rutendo Chinzara, and the entire team at Change Radio, have a good night.